You've been a big advocate reaching out to the African American community, and you talk a lot about the disproportionate incarceration of blacks and sort of in that urban area. I think, talk to me a little bit about why you feel that is having a negative impact on the family unit.
Well, I think the thing is that some people think, oh, well, that's a really liberal idea. How are you going to say that in evangelical Christian churches or at the Republican convention? How are you going to say things like that? But I think it's absolutely consistent with my conception of Christianity. We believe in redemption. We believe that you get a second chance. And that really we have to have laws, and people will have to be punished for behavior, particularly behavior that hurts other people. But even if we acknowledge we're going to punish people for bad behavior that hurts only themselves, it needs to be within reason. And it needs to be that we get people back into society and get them jobs. And as I've traveled around and met people who have had this, I'll meet sometimes ministers who in certain places have felony records and can't vote. One, we should let people get back to voting. And instead of all this be about, we want to prevent those people from voting or we want to do this and that, we need to be emphasizing that we want everybody to vote and we want to encourage people, even people who made mistakes, to vote. And I think a lot, if you look at crime, whether it's nonviolent crime or even violent crime, most of it is committed by young men before the age of 25. And I often joke that boys really don't have much of a brain developed till they're 25. And so we have to try to keep them stable until they kind of grow into their maturity. But some of that is giving a second chance. And I don't think I'm alone in that. One of the interviews I point out was, this was maybe 10, 15 years ago now, but it was Jerry Falwell, maybe Pat Robertson and Cal Thomas, and they were being asked about drug use, alleged drug use of a presidential candidate, and they were then asked, well, what if it was a young person in your church? What would you want to do with them? If a teenager was caught with marijuana, would you want them to be incarcerated or counseled? Every one of them, and these are conservative Christian ministers, they all said counseling. And I think that's what most normal people would say.